Now, most of the time when people talk about cold approach, they talk about it as a way of getting laid. There's nothing wrong with that per se. I talk to guys every day on coaching calls and consultation calls, and I notice obviously everybody is different. Everybody is at a different level in terms of their abilities to connect with strangers, their abilities to overcome their fears, their anxiety.
So I think the biggest thing holding me back has been my anxiety.
So the thought of cold approach is this thing that gets you laid can be very overwhelming. So in today's video, I want to offer another viewpoint. I want to offer another way of looking at it. And I basically want to tell you, you don't have to approach women.
What? What did you say?
You see, if you just look at it at a way of I have to cold approach to get laid, to have sex, it brings up two problems. The first one is, like I mentioned, it can be overwhelming. Going from zero, maybe you are the zero, right? Maybe you haven't done a cold approach in your whole life. Maybe you would describe yourself as rather socially anxious, or the thought of walking up to a woman and giving her a compliment is just crazy to you. Well, and then thinking of you have to overcome all of that and way more and become really good at conversation suddenly, and becoming good at opening and closing and being good at dates and being able to escalate and all that stuff. It's like crazy overwhelming. So then you might not even start, you might not even try even one time. And then the second problem is, if you see cold approach as this input you give to get sex as the output, well, as soon as you cut off the input, as soon as you stop cold approaching, you also stop getting laid, right? And that can be true to an extent. Now, I want to offer you a different viewpoint today. What if getting laid is not the outcome of cold approach, but instead a bonus? What if cold approach is not this thing to get laid, but it's this transformational period in a man's life where he learns to become more charismatic, to become more open, where he interacts more with the world, where he basically acquires a skill that will be useful for the rest of his life. And then, if he does it well, or if he improves, if he becomes more social, if he follows certain advice from me and coaching team and other people and so on, yeah, he might also get laid. He might also meet some ladies on the way. So he might charm some women and get their number, and some of these women want to go on dates. But the main thing is that it's this thing you're doing for yourself. The point is yourself, right? You have to keep in mind, all these people I talk to every day, all of my students, my clients, the guys who book free consultation calls, which I do 2 times a day, by the way, each of these guys is at a different level. Each of these guys have a unique personality, they're in a unique situation, they have their own traumas, their own environment, their own thing that happened to them. So everybody is starting out from a different place, and then expecting that everybody should end up at the same spot within 2 months, 3 months, 6 months is crazy, right? We have to keep in mind that different people have different situations and therefore should strive for different outcomes. So don't compare yourself to somebody who is maybe really successful with women now, because you don't know what they had to go through, or maybe they had it easier than you, or they just had different circumstances starting out. So what is a goal that is worth pursuing? A goal that is worth pursuing when it comes to cold approach or socializing in general is being a little bit better than you were yesterday. It's being 1% more open, more socially free, more comfortable in your own skin that you were yesterday, right? How can we do that? I'm actually gonna give a workshop on this on the 10th of March at 6 p.m. Central European Time. I think it's a Sunday, because this came up so many times in my YouTube channel, in the comments, and especially in the coaching I'm doing every day. People having a hard time getting started, right? The beautiful thing with cold approach is once you have a little bit of momentum, it's fun, it's exciting. Girls are open to you, they give you their number, they're smiling, you make people stay. It's exhilarating, like it fills you with adrenaline. But getting started is really hard. There's this huge wall, right? Like there's a woman walking and you like, oh my God, I could approach her. That thought alone often puts up such a huge barrier for most people that they're not doing it at all. So on the 10th of March, and for the rest of this video, I'm gonna give advice on how to get started. And I'm gonna do that by so-called body activation techniques. Basically, how to overcome your social anxiety by prepping yourself, by priming yourself, by putting you in the right state of mind. So let's go over a few little things that you can do today to make yourself more open to the world. The first one is meditation. What is meditation? Many descriptions if you Google it, but for me it's basically just a form to bring myself into the present moment, right? I'm highly analytical, I'm working a lot, I'm dealing with a lot of stress and struggles all the time. I'm running a company, I have employees, I'm planning my future, I'm planning different exciting trips that I'm doing this year. I'm constantly in my head, to be honest. Meditation helps me become present. I can feel how the ass is now on this cold rock. I can feel how the sun is hitting me on this side, but not on this side. Okay, I'm more present right now. And this is important when you connect with strangers because they want you to be present, especially a beautiful lady. The charm of a feminine creature is often that they're so present, they're so in the moment, and they require you as a man to come a little bit into that space. So it can be as easy as just sitting down for 3 minutes without any devices, closing your eyes, and just feeling what's going on around you. You can focus on the skin, you can focus on other senses, what you see, you can close your eyes, you can focus on what you hear, you can focus on where do you have tension in your body. All that is fine, right? All that helps you to become more present. The second thing is connection, right? Obviously this whole process is about connecting with the outside world. So we want to start being more of a connector. We're doing this by simply walking up more open, putting the shoulders back. I mentioned this in many videos. Starting to looking people in the eyes, right? The eyes is the portal to everybody's soul. So therefore, if you start looking people in the eyes, could be anybody, maybe the bank lady when she gives you cash, or the barista, or the lady at the shopping mall and you ask for where the sweaters are and you just look her straight into the eyes. How often do you actually look people really straight into the eyes? Especially strangers, when you walk past them on the street. This is the first step of becoming more of a connector. And you can't really give me an excuse right now why this is not possible for you to do today, right? So that's just a little start. Next level above that is compliments. You can give compliments to people all the time. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody's gonna shame you for greeting an old lady in a really nice way, for thanking the person who helped you today in a really nice way, for even giving compliments to your family, to your relatives, to anybody, right? There's no bad stigma around giving honest, special compliments to people.
You okay?
Yeah,
All right, you're sexy.
thank you.
What's going on today?
Do you mind if I go to my class?
No,
Because I'm
you're
looking
not allowed.
like
You have to
this.
stay forever.
You look so cool and sporty.
Thank you so much.
So you come out here and you kind of had a cute vibe about you.
And then the final thing is social freedom. Social freedom basically means letting go of the fear of what people think about you, letting go of that judgment, letting go of that fear, that constant pressure of what's going on around me. Am I looking weird with my camera here in the park? This guy's looking a bit, he might be thinking something weird of me. Who is this YouTube boy talking to a camera? Who does he think he might think? Probably not. Probably it's all in my head. And probably everything you think that people think about you is also just in your head. So it's letting go of that step by step. Again, you don't have to become Mr. Socially Free Dancing in the Street guy by tomorrow. You can just identify one thing that brings up a voice in your head that is a little bit like, I shouldn't be doing this, or, this is weird, or this is a bit embarrassing, or people will think I'm strange. And then just jumping into that a little bit more than you usually would. Challenging that voice a little bit more than you would have done yesterday.
No, you look wonderful as well. Are you walking around me?
What?
Are you walking around me? Like a dance?
So please reset your goals. This is a long time pursuit, right? You don't have to go from 0 to 100 in a short amount of time. This process is for you. It's a long journey, and it's a journey that is worth it because it's a skill that you're gonna need for the rest of your life. Like, I'm not teaching you a certain programming language here. I'm not teaching you some financial, altcoin pump and dump advice that will be irrelevant in a year. I'm teaching you social skills and charisma. You will need that forever, even in the AI revolution, probably even more so. Think about that, okay? Take it easy. You don't have to become Mr. Casanova by tomorrow, but you have to become a little bit better than you were yesterday. Again, 10th of March, you can click below to join the waiting list. I'm gonna give an online workshop on body activation and overcoming social freedom. And that's that for that short video today. See you in the next one. Peace.